Thank you for joining. Please kindly share the video on your platform. Share the video any place you belong. Share and let people join us so that we can send this quick message. It's going to be a very quick broadcast. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. It's not going to take your time. It's going to be very brief. As brief as I can, so that we can be able to move to other things and go to other responsibilities. Everything I'm doing, just as I'm telling people to stand up and add more effort, I am equally doing the same. When I'm encouraging people to add more effort, on my own side I will also put more effort to make sure that information continues to go out there. Every given chance I have, I come online to say one or two things. That is what we have to be doing. Every one of us have that responsibility to do something. Anything you know you can do to see that Biafra comes. At this time that we are in, this is the time to do it. I don't need to wait. You don't have to wait. This is the time for us to make sure that we do something for the coming of Biafra. We cannot continue to wait. We cannot continue to wait for anything. We have to do something to see that Biafra comes. And the time is now. So no matter what anybody is saying, no matter what is happening, no matter the difficult times and situation, I always try to come online to air my voice and add my opinion. For few people who have been able to join this time, I appreciate you as you're joining. If you are joining from Biafra land, Clement and Eto, thank you for joining. Alowankwo, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Please kindly share the video on your platform. Share the video any place you belong. Share to family and friends and everywhere you're connected to, so that we will continue to spread the gospel and let the people hear our voice. Just as I said in my previous program, that it's not time to talk. It's time to walk the walk. So now we are going to, this program is going to be in form of a question. And you're free to come in and contribute. If you have any contribution to make, just come in, click the request, make a request. I'm going to add you. Once you click in, you make a request, I will add you. But when you want to come in, make sure you keep your phone this way. Keep your phone in a horizontal form. You keep your phone this way. Make sure that your rotation is on. Make sure your rotation is on. If your rotation is on, keep your phone this way. Then you can be able to join. If your phone is straight, you cannot join. So if you have any contribution or any question to ask, you are free to come in and make your contributions or you ask your questions. So today we are going to talk about how much is enough to sell your freedom. How much is enough to sell your freedom? That is what we want to talk about. How much is enough to sell your freedom? This question is mainly to Biafran people and every other freedom fighter out there. How much is enough to sell your freedom? This question is coming because so many of us have already sold out. You see people selling out their freedom. You see people giving up their freedom. People are selling their freedom. They are selling their freedom. So I'm asking, how much is enough for you to sell your freedom? What is the cost of your freedom? Thank you, Honor Jordan Emmanuel. How much is the cost of your freedom? I'm asking this question because the state that we are now, we are in restoration of Biafra, and we don't want anybody to be left behind. No Biafra must be left behind. Every one of us will go to that promised land. Every one of us must get to that promised land, whether the enemy like it or not. We will all get to that promised land alive. That is why this question is very important, mainly for Biafran people. Ask yourself, how much is enough for your freedom? How much can be paid for you to give up your freedom? For me, no amount at any cost, no amount can be able to buy my freedom. No amount you can pay me to reject my freedom. No. I am asking this question for every one of us to provide an answer. How much is enough to pay you so that you can forget your freedom? How much is enough to sell your freedom? How much? Already we are seeing some people selling their freedom. Some are even selling their freedom because of recharge card. Some people, the cost of their freedom is recharge card. Some people, the cost of their freedom is friendship. Some people, the cost of their freedom is house rent. Some people, the cost of their freedom is visa. Some people, the cost of their freedom is passport. Some people, the cost of their freedom is just their tribe and their religion. You that is watching me and those that are going to watch in time to come, how much is enough to sell your freedom? How much is enough? To me personally, I think there is no amount anybody can give you that wants your freedom. You cannot buy freedom. You can't buy freedom and you can't buy freedom. You can't. And why you don't know the cost of freedom is because maybe either because you've been in the cage for a very long time. When you've been in a cage for a long time, somehow it becomes normal for you. You begin to think that you're living a normal life. Even when you know that you are just existing, but you're not living. Even when it is very clear that you are just existing, but you're not living. People who are living their life, they know the value of freedom. They know the value of freedom. But when you have stayed in a cage for a very long time, when you have been in a cage for a very, very long time, it will be difficult for you to differentiate between your freedom and whatever you have been given. You will think that you will just be existing, but you are not living. If you want to know the cost of the freedom, if you want to know how important and the cost of freedom, go to the prison and make a visit. Visit the prison. Go and visit the prison. You will see people, even people who are detained for 1 month. That 1 month alone, they are detained. Ask them, what can they do to be free? They are ready to give up everything to be free. They want to be talking about how to be wealthy. They are not talking about food. They are not talking about what to eat or how to marry or how to buy houses or how to do anything. What they are thinking about is how to be free. If you want to know the cost of freedom, go and visit the prison. So many of you have not been to prison. So many of us have been there. So many of us have been to prison. So many of us have been detained in one time or the other. And that period of time when you are in the hand, when you are being detained and caged in a place, that is when you know the value of freedom. Because you have tested freedom. You have tested the time where you wake up at your own time. You can wake up and decide to go to your office. For those who are self-employed. If you are self-employed, you can wake up in the morning and decide that today I'm not going to work. You sleep back. You can wake up and decide that you're not stepping out of your house for a day. Nobody's going to force you. But when you are in detention, when you are in the prison, they are going to decide when you sleep. They are going to decide when you eat. They are going to decide the kind of clothes you wear. They are going to decide when you take your bath. Everything will be decided by somebody else. Even when you are a mature grown man. You might be wealthy. You might have everything outside the wall. You might have every other thing you need. You have your children, have your wife, have your friends, have cars, have money. But once you are in detention, once you are in prison, everything has no value to you anymore. You will not be thinking about anything again. You'll be thinking about freedom. That is when you know the value of freedom. And if you have not been in detention before, if you have not been in prison before, go and visit the prison. Just pay a visit to people who are there. When you go and pay a visit, listen to what they are saying. If you are visiting somebody, listen, ask them questions. Listen to what they say. Or when you are talking to someone, listen to people by the side, what they are saying. When you discuss deeply people in the prison, they don't talk about how to get married. They don't talk about wealth, how to accumulate much wealth. They are not talking about how to do this or do that. The only thing they talk about, how to be free. And they are ready to do anything possible to be free. They are ready to do anything possible at their reach to be free. Except there's something they cannot do. When they get to the extent that they are helpless, they can't do anything, they hope on God to free them. But as long as the strength remains on them to be free, when you see people who are in prison, they can do anything undoable to be free. That is why sometimes you see people go to the extent of breaking the prison. And when you hear about a jailbreak, you think it's a small risk. This is a risk that can take your life. It can take your life. But you see people go to an extra mile to free themselves from captivity. But some people, when you see them, because you have been in prison for a very long time, because you have been in a certain situation for that, it seems to become normal for you. That is why I'm asking, how much is enough to sell your freedom? You that is free. You that is born free. A freeborn. If you are a Biafra, you are a freeborn. If you are a Biafra, you are a freeborn. You should be proud of yourself. You should be very, very proud of yourself. Then I'm asking you, how much is enough to sell that freedom that Chukwuka have given you as a Biafra? This question is very important for every Biafran. Today we see so many Biafrans who are derailing from the struggle. So many of them are looking for what they will eat. They'll sell their freedom for porridge, only meal, food that you eat. Not even 3 square meal, just 1 square meal. They sell their freedom. Some are selling their freedom for recharge card, just recharge card. They sell their freedom. Some are selling their freedom for one material thing or the other. Some are selling their freedom for friendship, just for friendship. Some are selling their freedom for marriage. How much is enough to sell your freedom? If you are human, you should know that no amount on the planet Earth equals your freedom. And that is why we the Biafrans are standing firm and say there will be no election in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. There will be no election. It doesn't matter how they try, there will be no election. We are saying there will be no election because of our freedom. We want a permanent freedom. We are not talking about maybe a smile today and tomorrow you go back to slavery, deeper into slavery. No, we won't be part of it. We are talking about freedom. And for those of us, those Biafrans that know the value of freedom, they have said that there will be no election in Biafra land. Those of them who have been in the cage for a very long time, and cage began to be normal for them. They have been enslaved for a very long time. All of a sudden, they are now accepting slavery as part of them. You see them. So many who have been caged, they have been enslaved for a very long time. All of a sudden, they begin to see slavery as normal. They are the people who are promoting one election or the other. Today, they are talking about Mazen Nandekan and his good work. The next day, they are talking about P2B to give them the election and Igbo presidency. The next minute, they are talking about another trending issue. But for those of us who are genuinely seeking for freedom, nothing matters to us except our freedom, and freedom we must have. No man born of a woman can stop the freedom of the Biafran people. We will be free. It doesn't matter how they try to stop us. It doesn't matter their weapon of warfare. It doesn't matter the attack they bring. It doesn't matter the angle they are coming from. We are going to hold on our freedom until freedom comes. Consistency is the key. That is our memory verse over here. Our memory verse on this channel, consistency is the key. The only thing we ask for is freedom and nothing else. We are not asking for war. We are not asking for anybody's life. We are not asking for anybody's land. We are asking for our legitimate rights, self-determination. That's what we ask. But while asking for self-determination, if they decide the other way around and say they are going to bring war, of course we are going to defend ourselves. We are going to defend ourselves with equal measure they are bringing to us. We are definitely going to defend ourselves. That is where we are. That is where we are today. Self-defense of Biafra, because we know We are dealing with a stubborn enemy. We are dealing with Pharaoh. You know how difficult it was for Pharaoh to allow the Israelites go? With all the miracles that they saw, with all the revelations from God, with all the things that Pharaoh saw, he never let the Israelites go. Even when Israelites were on their way going, he still chased them into the river until the river covered and took his armies away. How much is enough to sell your freedom? You must answer that question deeply in your heart. If you want to answer this question on screen, click on that very place where you can be able to come in. If you want to come in, you can come in and make your contributions. And your request, send your request. If you want to join the platform, send your request. I'm going to bring you in. I bring you in. You make your point. Maybe your own freedom have a price tag. My freedom doesn't have a price tag. My freedom doesn't have a price tag. That is why I speak every day. That is why sometimes 3 times, 4 times every day, I come online. At every given opportunity, I come online. Whenever I finish what I'm doing, I don't have something to do, I will come online. Even if it's for 10 minutes, if it is for 5 minutes, I come online. To speak up for my people, to encourage my fellow Biafrans, that no amount is enough for us, for we to give away our freedom. No amount of money is enough for you and I to sell our freedom. No. No offer whatsoever is enough for you to sell your freedom. We cannot sell our freedom. We cannot. No matter what. Those that sold their freedom for food, from the Bible history that we read, those that sold their freedom for food, you saw what ended them. You saw how they ended up. You saw how they ended up. They sold their freedom. You heard about the story of Esau and Jacob. You know the story of Esau and Jacob. And so many people that have sold their, go and check people who have sold their birthright, who have sold their freedom. How did they end up? A time came when they didn't know the value of freedom, when they needed that freedom more than anything, because they have sold out. It became difficult. And some of them ended up ending themselves, thinking they were going to end someone else. They end themselves. How much is enough for you to sell your freedom? If you are a Biafran, answer the question. If you are from any part of the contraption called Nigeria, any indigenous section, as long as an indigenous person, answer me the question. How much is enough for you to be your freedom? How much is enough for you to sell your freedom? How much? How much is enough for we Biafrans? Our freedom cannot be bought. You cannot put a price on us. Mazin Nanekano said it in one of his messages. He said that there are Biafrans who are unbribable. He said it. Some Biafrans are unbribable. You see Mazin Nanekano? You see Mazin Nanekano? He is unbribable. He's not looking for temporary freedom. If Mazin Nanekano is looking for a temporary freedom, all he needs to do is to tell them that he's no longer interested in Biafra. That's the only thing he needs to say. Just say he's not interested in Biafra and you'll see him out. But because that is not what he's after. If Mazin Nanekano want to come out today, all he needs to do is to tell the caliphate that he's no longer interested in Biafra struggle. And you'll see him. But Mazin Nanekano knows the value of freedom. He knows the value of freedom. He wants to be free. And he wants his brothers and sisters to be free. He wants his brothers and sisters to be free. And no man born of a woman can stop that freedom. No matter the attack you see from, no matter, they will try. They will try. Just like some of us who are Christians, you know the Bible said that they will gather. It didn't say they will not gather. They will gather. But because they are not gathering in the name of Chukwuka, they will be scattered. As for gathering, they will definitely gather. The enemies of Biafra will always gather. They will always gather, either inside or outside, both in the IPO, wherever they are, they will always gather. But because they are not gathering by the permission of Chukwuka, they will definitely scatter. That is why I sometimes went further to tell people that the gospel of Biafra doesn't need force. It doesn't need to. You don't have to be jealous about it. It's just like you see people being jealous of Simon Ekpa. People attacking Simon Ekpa. If Simon Ekpa is not preaching the right message, you don't need to attack him. You don't need to attack him. The message cannot go far. You don't even know to fight him. Chukwu Okukabiyama himself will make sure that the message didn't go far. But if Simon Ekpa is preaching the gospel just like Mazen Nandeka, you can't stop it. It's unstoppable. Unstoppable. Even if today he is no longer broadcasting, every single time he comes out to say anything, even the one he has said in the past, will continue to grow. Will continue to germinate in people. You will see another person speaking that same voice he's using. That is what happened to Mazen Nandeka. Some people who were talking down on Mazen Nandeka, they thought that after kidnapping him, that he not hear his own voice again. They thought that after kidnapping Mazen Nandeka, that is the end of it. But today you can see Mazen Nandeka still speaking in Simon Ekpa today. Mazen Nandeka is still speaking loud and loud and louder than ever in Simon Ekpa. Taking actions and taking steps ahead. How much is enough for you to sell your freedom? What is the price tag of your freedom? Did you put any price tag on your freedom? Of course, if you have a price tag, there are people who can pay your price. It doesn't matter how much you put as your price tag. Anything that has a price tag has people who will buy it. Any object that has a price tag has people who will afford it. It doesn't matter how costly it is. But when you don't have a price tag, nobody comes close. Nobody comes close. That is why Mazen Nandeka is exceptional. Among all the freedom fighters you can think of, he is exceptional. Unbribable. Unbribable. In the face of the enemy, he speaks loud and louder than ever. All he wants is freedom. And his freedom. And freedom of his own region. Freedom of his family. Is unbribable. There's no price tag on it. You see those ones that have price tag, the ones that have price tag, they have already changed their language. Those agitators who have price tag on them, go and look what they are doing in their platform today. So many of them are now supporting the election indirectly. They have forgotten about the issue of Mazen Nandeka. They are no longer talking about Biafra. They are telling you, oh, let's give P2B a chance. Let's try P2B. Even when they know that P2B has no plan to restore Biafra or give you a permanent freedom. No. Even a temporary freedom you cannot get from it. You can't get a temporary freedom. That is why we must wake up and stand firm. How much is enough for your freedom? That's what I'm asking. How much? How much is enough? You're welcome, Edu Pascal. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. How much is enough? How much is enough for you to pay? How much is enough? Do you have a price tag on your freedom? If you have a price tag on your freedom, better remove that price tag. If you are a genuine Biafran, if the blood of Biafran is flowing in your vein, if you know that you're a Biafran and you have a price tag on your freedom, remove that price tag. Remove it. Remove it now as you're watching me, or those who are going to watch it, as you're watching this video, remove that price tag from you. Because let me tell you, anything on this planet Earth that has a price tag, there are people who can buy it. Anything that has a price tag, it doesn't matter how many billions or trillions you put on it, as long as it has a price tag, there are people that can afford it, and they will take it home. How much is your freedom worth? Mazen Nandeka freedom is unbribable. It can be unbribable. It can measure it. It doesn't have any price tag. As I'm speaking here, my freedom have no price tag. Weke Azodo Nelson, thank you so much for joining. My freedom has no price tag. It doesn't matter whom you are. It doesn't matter the amount you bring. It doesn't matter how rich you think you are. It doesn't matter how fancy what you have presented is. And those of us who their freedom has no price tag, they are exceptional. You can see the way they operate in autopilot. If you are still in that autopilot and you have a price tag, you better remove that price tag before it's too late, because there are people who are going to pay you. If you are in autopilot, you claim to be supporting autopilot, you claim to be in autopilot, and you have a price tag on you, there are people that are going to pay your price, and you're going to fall out. you will definitely fall out. As long as you have a price tag on yourself, there are people that are going to pay that price, no matter the amount. But when you don't have a price tag on you, you don't have a price tag. No man born of a woman dare comes close to you, let alone asking you how much. They will not come. They wouldn't come. But sometimes you see people who claim to be fighting for freedom, agitators, putting a price tag on themselves unknowingly. And when the enemy glance and see the price tag, they will come and they will pay the bill. When they pay the bill, before you know, they begin to sing a different music. So many of them
are yet to wake up from your slumber or your sleep and get the point that we are exiting Nigeria. Exiting Nigeria is not going to come from the platter of golden plate. You have to sacrifice for it. And we are ready to sacrifice everything, including you, if you come and stand in the way of freedom. So you need to know how serious we are. We are damn serious. Some of you are not getting it. You think we are here to build political movement? We are here for freedom. Freedom comes with price. Okay? The only thing you can do is to comment on social media. Don't ever stand on the way of Biafra freedom. We'll crush you.
Their interest is suppressed. Biafra is the key. Once they can hold Biafra down, they can hold all of Africa down. Hey, freedom fighting, sorry. Because all these people are criminals, they're saying there is no way this man cannot be a criminal like themselves. They don't have a different breed altogether. They don't know that. I am Nnamdi Kanu. I don't do all this nonsense you do. My father was a very rich man, not ostentatious. I had the finest education that his money could afford. We are not poor. Have never been. That is why a poor man cannot be a freedom fighter. If you're not full of yourself, you cannot be a freedom fighter. You have to go everywhere. We must continue.